Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're trying to hit 150K before the 2022 midterms, so make sure you subscribe so we can get there. But in the meantime, we have a new development out of a political conference that took place in Colorado, and they conducted a poll for 2024. Who they would vote for, who the people preferred, who the people wanted. Now, most people decided that the leader of the pack should not even be Donald Trump when he was in this poll. Ron DeSantis actually edging Trump in the 2024 poll. He is in first place. Now, this is very interesting, because Donald Trump is like the leader of the movement, essentially, the leader of the conservative movement, the leader of the Republican Party. He is that guy. He is still that symbol. But in Florida, you see a governor, probably one of the most prominent Republican executive officials in the country right now. I mean, the governor of the third largest state or so. Technically, Greg Abbott is governor of Texas, but Ron DeSantis, he's more effective. He's out there getting things done, and a lot of people like that. And this poll that took place with the in-person and online attendees, 500 people were asked to vote of all of the potential candidates out of 31 people, by the way, 31 people. And Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis both were at the top, and I like both of them. I mean, Trump probably is going to run. My decision on who I support really hinges on Trump's decision. And he's going to be holding rallies in Ohio. He's going to go down to Florida. I think it's going to be Trump as president with Ron DeSantis as VP. And yeah, I know they can't technically do that unless Trump switches his residency, but Donald Trump is property everywhere. He could switch his residency to Nevada even. That's another swing state he could probably go for and probably win. But this idea that Donald Trump is unelectable is laughable. It really is. I don't think he's lost support. Biden is the one losing support in the approval ratings right now. Donald Trump was 43,000 votes away from winning the White House in 2020. This idea that the events that have transpired since then are going to hurt him too much, I disagree. I think he has a good chance at winning. I think that he probably should fix his messaging a little bit, and I'm going to give him a chance. He's got rallies coming up. He needs to bring out that Midwestern-style populist energy when he's going to be coming to Cleveland this Saturday. But the bottom line is that Ron DeSantis won this poll, and what does it exactly show me? It shows me that there are other options potentially. People are looking elsewhere as well. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're fed up with Trump, because 71% like Trump. But 74%, a lot of Trump supporters like DeSantis, and DeSantis may have some crossover appeal. So if people are really that energized for Ron, could Ron be more electable? Potentially. I've always talked about the energy factor. Trump brings the energy factor. He also energizes the other side a little bit too much. Ron DeSantis probably would energize the other side less, but if he's able to energize the right more somehow, which I have my doubts, but if that's true, then he would be an electoral juggernaut. They wouldn't know what to do with him. Now, obviously, there's still some issues with DeSantis, and I did a documentary on DeSantis. Go check it out. I'll put the link in the end card at the end of the video, but it's so telling, because energy, trade, foreign policy, little bit of a red flag there, because we don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a red flag. I'd say it's more like an orange flag or a yellow flag. But Ron DeSantis, solid guy, solid candidate. But it just shows you that the party is unified behind either one. The old guard, the Ted Cruzes, the Pompeos, the Tim Scotts, the Nikki Haleys, the Mike Pences was at the bottom, and he got booed at a conference in Florida. It shows you that the party is really solidifying itself behind two strong leaders, two strong candidates. The alpha male candidates, essentially, Big Ron and Big Don, the two Florida men, right? These are the leaders of the party right now. DeSantis is getting there. He's really elevated his game significantly. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because, by the way, DeSantis is not going to run against Trump. And I kind of say that it's a little bit redundant to talk about who we should prefer in 2024, because it all comes down to Trump's decision. Could DeSantis beat Trump, I don't think he would run. I mean, could he? I mean, some of the people prefer in the polls on my channel, DeSantis had 54%, 46% want Trump to run again. But either way, I think that Ron DeSantis is somebody who can win an election. I think he's likable. I think he's a solid conservative leader. I don't think he's necessarily this anti-establishment warrior that Trump is, but I still think he would be a solid president. Now, Trump still is the guy, in my opinion. He still has the movement behind him. I don't think Ron DeSantis can get Trump's crowds. I think he could get bigger crowds than your average Republican. I think he'd get bigger crowds than, obviously, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But is he going to get Trump's crowd size? No, but Trump will likely be campaigning with DeSantis, whether Trump runs or not. Now, the other candidates in this race, I mean, there's really nobody, essentially, besides Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. There's nobody, unless like Tucker Carlson or somebody else throws their hat in the ring, which I don't exactly see happening unless like Trump and DeSantis and Hawley decide not to run. Now, Hawley I don't think is that viable, maybe as a VP type candidate, but I don't think he'd be viable for the head of the nomination unless Trump and DeSantis don't run, and even then it would be close. Don't underestimate the establishment, because they will use Fox News and the Daily Wire and all of these establishmentarian conservative outlets and push people like Nikki Haley hard. Now, I hope that backfires. I really think it would, but if Trump and DeSantis both don't run, we would have a problem. But I think Trump would run. If not, I think DeSantis is going to run. I think if Trump runs, I think DeSantis may actually be his VP, and I think that's the best compromise. But keep in mind that DeSantis, again, he was close in a head-to-head against Trump at CPAC, although CPAC was in Florida. But this was not in Florida. This was in Colorado, and you have Ron DeSantis leading the pack. And again, it's not in Florida, because I would expect DeSantis to be leading in Florida, but if it's not in Florida, if it's in Colorado, it's actually in Denver. Interesting. Now, DeSantis may have more suburban appeal too, which is instrumental to winning an election. I'm not necessarily saying that I prefer DeSantis over Trump, because Trump is still that anti-establishment guy, but that doesn't take away from Ron. He is a great leader. He's improving. His trajectory is upward. And between now and like 2023 or so, we're going to see what exactly happens. We're going to see who exactly decides to run, because it all comes down to one thing. As I said before, it all comes down to Donald Trump. Does he want to run or does he not want to run? And if he doesn't want to run, though, it's clearly going to be DeSantis, because I wouldn't expect Tucker to run if DeSantis is running, because I don't really think Tucker wants to run. And people like Hawley, I've seen these head-to-head polls. He's not doing very well. Meanwhile, DeSantis is leading the pack. Now things change. Jeb Bush and Chris Christie were once the frontrunners in 2016, obviously. And there could be another wild card that pops up. But besides these two, who's it going to be? Christie Noem? She's awful on every issue besides lockdown. She's awful on immigration. She's awful on the economy. Just not good all around. She's not electable the way that some people think. Maybe as a VP, but even then, that's a stretch. Mike Pence has fallen out of favor with Republicans, and I don't think it's just because of what happened in January. It's because a lot of people just realize that he's an establishment guy through and through, and he was the compromise guy that Donald Trump picked to be on the ticket that could bring in some of the reluctant establishment Republicans who didn't really like Hillary Clinton that much. And as a result, it definitely played well for him in 2016. Now, beyond that point, there will be people that think DeSantis is like a Pence. There will be people that say DeSantis is that guy. But DeSantis has a better track record than Pence had. He actually is a proven leader, and he is somebody who is willing to just stand up for what's right, to my knowledge. And there have been criticisms. Sometimes he's been at odds with his own party. He couldn't get a solid, E-Verify bill through, or the big tech censorship bill. But he's able to take a stand to get the ball rolling on these issues in a way that a lot of governors have not able to do. Greg Abbott, for example, why is he, acting based all of a sudden? Why is he building the wall? It's because he's got a primary challenge coming up potentially. Same thing with why Brian Kemp has been acting solid within the past few months. It's because after the election, his approval rating tanked, so now he's doing everything possible to stay favorable among the voters of Georgia. That is true. But DeSantis is that guy, and that's why people like him, because they want somebody who's a man of action. Donald Trump is a man of action, too. I'm not saying that Trump is worse than DeSantis or that DeSantis is better than Trump, but I do think it's important to understand why people like Ron DeSantis. And it shows that conservatives are craving an effective leader at the moment. Not saying Trump's not effective, but Ron's more on the national scene right now, and he may be more electable, potentially. Depends on the energy factor. But either way, this is big news for Big Ron. I like Trump. I like Ron. It depends on who runs. But either way, DeSantis ahead in this straw poll. Very interesting. We'll see if this energy continues. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.